Good morning, friends. It's Heather at Bush Poppy Farm. Hope you are doing well. I am out at the farm early this morning, waiting on a shipment of wood chips, 4 yards of wood chips, so we can finish up the pathways and stuff. And I'm also waiting on an appointment with the ag inspector for the county. Nothing major, just she's new. She's taking over for someone who was doing it for many, many years. And so she's trying to get out and meet with all the farmers. And yeah, so that's today at 9 o'clock. I'm looking forward to that. Always when I'm having somebody come out to the farm, I'm critical of how it looks and I feel like it's a mess. That's how it is. So, my wonderful husband came out here yesterday and did a whole lot of work. Without me, because I was doing a bouquet bar. He was supposed to be on a mountaineering trip to summit Mount Shasta this weekend, and the weather was going to be horrible for a summit attempt. Winds up over 100 miles an hour, and a mix of rain and sleet, and some snow, which makes the snowpack really unsafe, potentially, to be on for avalanche danger. So they had to cancel their trip, and instead, while I was working, he came out here and worked, and he started digging out this bed to fill this bed so I can get the mums in. I'm just so incredibly grateful. That's a huge amount of work, and it was hot yesterday. So in between the wood chip delivery and my meeting with the ag inspector, I'm going to continue to work on this. This is one of those things where I wish we'd done it when the soil was soft during the rainy season, but it is what it is. And so, yeah, we're hacking through really hard soil that is covered in weeds. Even though we cut them down, these are the deep ones with deep tap roots, so we gotta shovel those out because we don't want them in the bed. So yeah, more work to do. It's not terrible. He did almost all of it for me, but I don't know how much of this I'll be able to do today. We'll just see. Right now, it's in the shade. That is a bonus. So I'm excited about that. I will get started. It's going to be hot today, in the mid 80s. And so probably being out here when it's in direct sun is not going to be my favorite thing to do. The other thing I would like to do, I filled up a wheelbarrow with the last of the compost that was on the compost pile, because now it's going to get full of wood chips. And it's not going to be enough, but what I need to do is weed this bed and scrape everything off the top, redo the irrigation. But before I do that, put down enough soil to fill this almost to the top. This bed's going to be for the Alstroemeria that I have, the plugs. There are about 16 of them. They definitely will not fill this bed. They're perennials for me here. So I will have space in the bed for more stuff, which is great. Maybe I'll just get a different variety of Alstroemeria. So we have 2 different colors here, but that's the plan for this bed. And that's going to be a lot of weeding. Those are lilies that apparently did not get pulled up last year, but I don't think they're going to flower. They do not have the normal flower heads on them that they would usually at this time of year. So anyway, yeah, gonna pull all this up and fix that. But before the sun comes out over here, I'm gonna go ahead and start working on this. And then once the ag inspector shows up and all that, then I can meet with her and we'll get back to work. Okay, well, the ag inspection went well and the wood chips just got delivered, so we're in good shape. It's good because I have a lot of stuff to do at home and I kind of would rather be there doing stuff right now than here, but I am going to finish a job. So the ag inspection, like I said, was great. She actually made me feel so much better because I said, this has been a hard year. Everything is really behind. And she said, yeah, every farmer I have visited so far has said the same thing. All the vegetable farmers, they said they're all a month behind in where they should be at this time of year. Lost a lot of sales because of it. So that helped me a lot because, like I said, I've been feeling like, why isn't anything growing? I'm not the only one, and it really is the weather. So I'm not as big of a failure as I imagine in my head. That helps a bit mentally. Okay, and also, I've been lucky the last couple of times to have the same guy deliver all my compost and wood chips. He's such a sweet guy and it's so nice to catch up with him, see how him and his family are doing. So yeah, that was a nice little treat too. All right, so making some progress, but boy, it is so hard to dig. There is a lot of gravel below here and rocks. And when we initially laid out these beds, so there's another one right here. When we did this initially, all I did was put cardboard down over the whole area and then top it with a bunch of compost, make the beds, shape the beds, put the landscape fabric down and then plant, and the irrigation and then plant. So we never dug into the native soil or anything like that. But the rodents did. There was a ton of the whole bed that I'm standing in that's no longer really a bed. This was all zinnias, and every single one of them was eaten by rats and or gophers. The place was riddled with gopher runs, so that's why we put the cages in. So I'm gonna have to get, we're only able to dig down here maybe 4 or 5 inches to fill this cage, and that's not enough to fill it. And that's okay. I'm gonna have to go get a bunch of bag soil. I would have compost delivered, but the amount that I need it's cheaper for me to buy it in bags than to buy it by the yard and pay for the delivery fee, which is about $80. So because I don't need 4 or 5 yards, it makes more sense to do it this way. So I'll get a number of bags to fill that cage, and I'm gonna right now clean out this bed over here and dump what I've got in the wheelbarrow in there, and then I'll see how many bags I'll probably need to top that bed up. But I don't think, my plan is not to put a cage here and open it up and do the same for this. I think we will save these 2 beds for the fall, probably after the rains come. See, look, this is just what happened overnight. See this? That's gopher activity just from overnight, because Mike dug this out yesterday. So that's why it's important to have everything in a cage. But I don't need these 2 beds this year. We're gonna put the mums in this other one, and then the Alstroemeria over there, and then that's it. I'm planted out. Everything up there is on rotation, and I have enough room. So I'm not gonna waste the physical labor effort when the ground is super hard and solid like this. We'll wait until the rainy season comes and it gets softer and easier to dig, and then we'll finish out these 2 beds and plant them up, probably with more mums. I don't know, we'll figure it out. But something else perennial, so that this back half is all perennial. I still have loads of space. You can see that I could, so this mess here, these are 2 daffodil beds, and the reason we haven't weed whacked it down yet is there are still some daffodil leaves that are soaking up sun. Next week I'll come through here and knock it all to the ground, and then I'm gonna cover it with silage tarp. I'm gonna drag that tarp over, cover this whole area here with silage tarp. That will not only kill the weeds, but it'll also keep me from having to, maintain it during the season. And if I want to expand and bring down more beds, I can do that. I have plenty of space to do that. But right now, I don't need to expand. I've got enough to be going on with. So I'm gonna finish out today, here at the farm at least. We're gonna go home and plant some flowers. I'm gonna get to work on this bed, just clear this puppy out, and fill it up. I have 1 wheelbarrow load of compost left, and then I'll just bring in bagged soil to level it off. And this will be ready for planting tomorrow or the next day with the Alstroemeria, and then I will just continue to work on this bed so that we can get those final mums planted. Then we'll do wood chips. So that's kind of the order of operations that we'll be doing this week while we're out here. All right, I'm gonna get started on this. It's in the sun now and it is starting to get hot, but that's okay. This is a pretty easy job. In fact, I need to go, both of my hoes, unfortunately, are at home. That stinks. So this will be hand digging, but for the most part, I don't see very much in the way of spiny things. So I should be able to pull them out pretty easily with my, oh, I do have my, yeah, I do have a hand hoe. I have my, my Japanese hand hoe. I will get that. That will work great. I need to sharpen it first. And then that will make quick work of this bed. Okay, so I think I'm gonna need about 3 bags to top that off completely. So that's not so bad. This bed, however, 40 feet long, about 20 inches wide, and I probably need at least 4 inches, maybe 3 inches, because it doesn't have to be filled to the top, of soil. So I will do that math and then figure out how many bags I need to go get. I'm gonna go get those bags, and then I will meet you back at home where we're going to be planting up some pretty flowers in containers that used to have bush tomatoes and stuff in them until either the rabbits or the rats ate them down to nothing. So instead of replanting with edibles, I'm putting in inedible flowers. Okay, it's been a few hours. I took some of those hours in the direct sun to be under an umbrella and wash the remaining pots. So here they are all. Here they all are. Yeah, everything got washed with soap and water. Now it's just drying in the sun, and then it will go back into the greenhouse, put away for the next time we need to start seeds. So that was it. I am so happy that that job is done. It takes forever, but it's really important. It's a great way to keep disease from spreading. Washing it with soap and water. I use Dr. Bronner's just because that's what I have on hand. And I decided to do some of this potting up of these new flowers under the umbrella because I feel like I've had enough sun today, even though I was under here while I was washing. So what do we have and what are we doing? Okay, so all of these terracotta pots here, I did have patio versions of tomatoes and cucumbers in, and all of them got eaten. There's nothing left. So I bought flowers to put in these pots, and I think it'll be just really pretty. And most of these are annuals. However, some of them, like the verbenas and this osteospermum, canned perennialize for us, so I will just pop those in the cottage garden when I'm done. So let's go over what we've got. So, and I'm just doing a single plant in each pot because these tend to get pretty big and I don't want to cram them, well, except with this exception right here. I don't want to cram them. I want to give them space and just let them roam and have fun. So in this pot, we've got Bright Lights Purple Osteospermum, full to part sun. So this will get full sun through most of the day, and then in the late afternoon, this area is shaded, which is nice. Then we've got this beautiful Beets Blue and White Verbena. Oh, it's so pretty. Back here, one of my favorites, and they happen to have it. I got 2 of them. This is Chocolate Cosmos. Now, I saved seed for this, and it just didn't germinate for me. So I'm going to save seed again this year. I love this plant so much. Really pretty cosmos, but it is perennial for me here, and it does smell like chocolate. It smells amazing. So this pot, I'm going to put this in here. It'll get big, and I'll have to move it out so that it can continue to grow and not get all tangled up in the lemon and lime. But yeah, I got 2 of those because I love them so much. And then here, we're going to put this really pretty Scabiosa. This one's called Deep Blue. I normally grow Scabiosa, but everything that I started from seed this year died out in the field. So we have none this year for cut flowers. And then this Super Bells, I lost the tag, but I think it's Smitten Pink. So that'll go in the front here. Over here, we've got another verbena. This one is purple and white, although to me that looks pink. But very pretty. That's going to go in this pot. You can see this is all that's left of the tomato that was there. And then this one, I think this is gorgeous. This is an Angelonia, dark purple, and this one will also go into the cottage garden when we're done in these pots. And then one more Chocolate Cosmos. Now, I did put nasturtium seeds in all these pots, most of them, and they're doing great. So I'm going to leave them because those are gorgeous, and they'll just spread around on the patio here, and I love that. They'll just sprawl. So I think as long as I don't disturb them too much when I plant, they'll be a nice addition. I am very happy with that. It looks so nice, and it's nice to have things in those pots again. As things need more or less sun, I will move them around. I mean, that's one of the nice things about container gardens. But yeah, this is so pretty. And just above them are lemon and lime trees that are covered in blooms, and they smell so good. So while I was planting, I was just enjoying the scent of blossoms. A couple more containers that we're going to plant up. And then I'm going to do some work in that green stalk. Things got eaten by roly-polies and slugs, so we're going to pull out and put in new stuff. Okay, done. So as you just saw, we potted up some new peppers in the green stalk, as well as a couple more squash. And then these two containers got one creeping Jenny and one Calolophus. This is a Ladybird Sun Glow, and I think that yellow looks wonderful against the red of the salvia. Now I need to cut the salvia completely back so it gives me another flush. Creeping Jenny always makes me nervous because it is so aggressive. That's why I'm keeping it in a pot, that it will take over this pot. So next time I go to plant something in it, I'll probably have to empty out all the soil completely and start from scratch. But I think this will be good. I had to deeply water these two because even though I've been watering it daily, it's getting hydrophobic underneath the surface. So I'm gonna have to be very diligent in the watering. All right, guys, I'm wiped. That was a long day. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. I hope you have a wonderful time in your garden, and I will see you in the next one where hopefully we'll be doing some more work at the farm. Take care.